Hey, are you a new homeschooler thinking about homeschooling? Are you in need of a homeschool reset? If this is you, keep watching. Hey there, this is Kathryn. Welcome to Mom Life on Purpose, where it's okay to be a work in progress. Today's video is part 2 in our Ready, Set, Homeschool series. We're going to talk about doing your homework. So first I want to say welcome. Check out the first video in this series, which is all about casting a vision for a homeschool that you and your family will love. In today's video, we're going to talk about a few things that you're going to want to do before you even look at curriculum. So this is our 5th year homeschooling, and I've come to find out that home education is totally a lifestyle. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is learn the regulations. Every state and country has homeschool laws and regulations that you're going to want to be in compliance with if homeschooling is right for your family. And it's very important to know the laws and the regulations for a few reasons. The first reason is when you know the laws and the regulations, you can make sure that what you're doing as a family fits within those regulations. So you do have a lot of freedom and flexibility to teach however you want to teach, to facilitate your child's education however you see fit. However, oftentimes there are certain subjects, and there could even be a certain number of days or hours that your state or region or country wants you to account for homeschooling. So those are good things to look into. And if you want to know what your state or country's homeschool laws are, you can just Google it. You can do an internet search for the name of your country or your state and then homeschool laws or homeschool regulations, and that should pull up some information for you to look over. The next thing you're going to want to do when you're finding out the regulations is to check with your state. Our school districts are divided by county. Every county has a homeschool office, and that's where I'm going to find the regulations, and I'm also going to find out how to start homeschooling, and that's really important. So what I have to do in my county is I have to file a form called a homeschool notification or intent form. And so just check with your school district's homeschool office to find out if there's any forms or anything that you need to fill out in order to start homeschooling. I do apologize for the noise. I dropped my son off at archery class, and there's a lot of different noises here because we're like at a park and nature center. So apologize for the background noise. So now that we've learned the regulations, next what you're going to want to do is learn your rights. So we all know how important it is to be aware of your country and your city's laws so you don't accidentally break them, and that you're aware of how the legal system works. Well, it's the same thing with homeschool. You're going to want to know the regulations so that you learn your rights. And there's some reasons for this. There is a group called HSLDA. Basically, HSLDA is a legal advocacy group. And so this group provides legal assistance for homeschool families and support. So in my state and country, we have to have accountability for homeschooling, which is a good thing. Okay, so now we know how to learn the regulations. We know we need to learn our rights. What's next? Well, what's next is the fun part, which is learn your students. So the first thing that you are going to want to do is to take some time out to observe your children's natural rhythm. Do you have night owls? Do you have early risers? You can work your schedule out and make it work for you and your family. What are your family's needs? Do you have flexibility to teach during the day? Do you work in the home? Do you work outside the home? Do you need to outsource? All of these things are things that you can take into consideration when you are building a homeschool that fits your family. Your homeschool doesn't have to look like everyone else's. Your schedule does not need to look like everyone else's. It only needs to work for you. And this is a hard lesson that I learned because for the longest time, I thought, just because, Mr. and Mrs. Smith got their kids out of bed at 7 a.m. and they did all these things and chores and breakfast and everything at a certain time, that's what I had to do with my children and my family. And I found out that I could have a much more peaceful homeschool experience and enjoy it more if I just went with my family's natural rhythm. And what is that? Well, I have 4 children, and no, all 4 of them are night owls. One of them is an early riser. This is my oldest son, and he is in middle school. He's finishing up middle school this year. He is at a point where he is able to maintain his own schedule. He has his own daily routine, which is nice. My oldest daughter is a night owl, and she's a late riser, but she also is self-motivated. So she manages her own schedule. She might start her schoolwork at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. My son gets up, he does his homework, he does his chores, he does his work, and he's done before noon. If you can withstand the temptation to look around at everybody else and what they're doing, pay attention to your natural rhythm and your kids' natural rhythms, and you can really finagle this thing and make it work for you. The next thing is, what is your child's personality and temperament? I have at least one that is very extroverted, social, and she thrives being in learning environments with other people. So that's where our co-ops come in. That's where our homeschool groups come in. And she loves those. I have one child who is very, very much introverted, and he prefers to learn independently. So I can set up something, that works for him. We do a co-op once a week, and it works for all 4 of the kids. They all kind of get various needs met. So take your child's personality into consideration. Don't feel like you have to do a co-op just because everyone else is doing it. If you have a house full of introverts, it will be fine. Next, this is so key. Observe your kids' natural interests and their natural bents. The beauty of homeschooling is that your children get a tailor-made education. What is going to help your child engage in their learning more than if they're learning about something they're interested in? What are they drawn to? Do they love animals? Are they naturally interested in cooking? Do they like to dance? Are they musical? Are they athletic? Do they enjoy science? I have one child who is very creative. She is an artist. She is a musician. She is very much interested in Japanese culture at the moment, but she's more engaged when she's doing stuff that she's interested in. When we're talking about Japanese culture, when we're talking about desserts specifically, because she is very much into baking, then that's when the light bulb goes on. That's when she's into it. And that's what you want. You can try and shove a bunch of information into your kid's head if you want to. You can sit your kids in front of the books and you can teach and you can lecture and you can watch videos. But if they're not interested in something, your kids don't have to learn all the things. They don't have to learn everything. There's certain things that your kids are going to need to know just to get along in life, but they don't have to master everything. So after some time just watching your kids, you'll learn if your kids are they really like writing, or they really like math, or they're athletic or artistic or whatever. Just take some time and just watch them and just do stuff with them. All right, the next thing you're going to want to observe is your child's learning styles. You may have heard of this. There are quizzes online and websites that go through the different learning styles. If you want to do some research, I'll put some links down in the description box for you to check out. Oh, which leads me to my next point. What's your teaching style? Because that matters. You don't need to be school marm with a textbook in one hand and your chalkboard and everything. I'm more of a facilitator, and I'm very hands-on. So I'm in the process of turning my house into a lab. I want, the art station, I need everything out in front of me. I want to get in there, you know what I mean, with my kids and do things with them. There's many homeschoolers that do read alouds. They read together as a family. Confession time, I'm not a read aloud mom, but I will listen to books in the car with you. And, I do read to my kids short books, but as far as novels go, no. But there's lots of ways that you can make these things enjoyable for everybody. And it doesn't matter if you're a square peg trying to jam yourself into this round hole, you're going to be miserable. And if you're miserable, you're not going to be able to teach your kids anything, because they're not going to listen to you because you're grumpy. Your kids are going to pick up on that, and they're feeding off of your enthusiasm. If you're trying to teach your kids something and you're trying to force yourself to love it, they're not going to buy it. So you might as well make it something that you enjoy, right? If I had a choice between reading Hamlet with my kids and going out to see the play, we're going to see the play. We're going out to lunch. We're going to dress up and we're going to act this thing out. I'm not going to sit and just read. That's boring. It doesn't have to be boring. Homeschool does not have to be boring for you or your children. Make it fun. Make it. Anyway, I think that's everything. Yeah. So, number 1, learn your regulations. Why? So that you can, number 2, know your rights. Okay? It's very important to create a good, solid foundation for your homeschool. We don't want no trouble. And number 3, learn your students. Learn your students. There's something that a lot of veteran homeschoolers recommend when you're transitioning into like the home education lifestyle. It's something called deschooling. And it's where you take some time to just be with your kids. This might make some of us nervous, especially those of us who are control freaks. This does not mean just letting your kids just do whatever. It's just an intentional time. And this is way better than jumping in, asking Sally and Harry what you use for your kids who might learn completely differently and have a completely different temperament. Never mind the fact that's not even how you enjoy teaching. So now how you have this very expensive, popular curriculum you can't even use, or you have to do cartwheels to try to make it work for your family when you didn't even have to go through all that. So yeah, it's worth the time. It's worth it. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and I hope that you found this video helpful. Let me know. Let me know if this was helpful to you. If you'd like to see some more, leave a comment. Feel free to like this video and subscribe for more content. Happy homeschooling.